Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2023 Stand With Us Festival of Lights. Please welcome Cantor Allison Wissett and Chaim Frankel to sing Achenu.
Achenu, Achenu kol beit Yisrael. As for our brothers and our sisters, the entire house of Israel, who are given over to trouble, who are in captivity, whether they are abiding on the sea or on the dry land, wherever they may be, may God have mercy upon them and bring them forth from the darkness into the light. Achenu kol beit Yisrael, Achenu kol beit Yisrael, hanetunim betzara uvashivya, haomdim ben bayam uven bayabasha. Achenu kol beit Yisrael, Achenu kol beit Yisrael, hanetunim betzara uvashivya, haomdim ben bayam uven bayabasha. Hamakom yirachem alehem, v'yotziem mitzara liravacha, u'me'afel aleora, u'mishibud legeula, hashta b'gala u'bizman kariv. Hamakom yirachem alehem, v'yotziem mitzara liravacha, u'me'afel aleora, u'mishibud legeula, hashta b'gala u'bizman kariv.
It's my honor and pleasure to invite back Rabbi Cantor Allison Wissett and her beloved daughter Abby Wissett, who will lead us in the national anthem. Please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight are the ramparts we watched And now please welcome the Harkham Hillel Hebrew Academy to sing Hatikvah.
Please welcome Stand With Us co-founder and president, Esther Renzer.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Stand With Us Festival of Lights. In these times where we all feel the darkness from many corners of the globe and from all parts of our society, we are gathered here together to celebrate light, the light of Hanukkah and the light of this organization that helps to bring light to the world. This is such an important time for us to be together. I think we all feel it. We are strong and resolute, and we are so grateful to each of you for giving wings to our global movement. Thank you all. I'd like to take a moment and ask the board members, the National Board of Stand With Us, to please stand and be recognized. Thank you all for your support of this remarkable organization that was created for a time such as this. I'd like to recognize some very special people in the room. Every year at the Festival of Lights, we are sponsored by two of our National Board families, the Lettermans and the Side-Offs. Thank you, Ellie and Bruce Letterman and Debbie and Nati Side-Off for making tonight possible. It is now my pleasure to introduce my partner and co-founder, our CEO, Roz Rothstein. Roz is the daughter of two Holocaust survivors, and she was a family therapist before we started Stand With Us. Roz, together with her husband, Jerry Rothstein, Jerry, I don't know where you're sitting, have been our executive and have guided this organization's unprecedented growth for the last 22 years. We've been doing this for 22 years. Since the inception of Stand With Us, the Forward magazine has twice named Roz one of the 50 most influential Jews in America. And the Jerusalem Post has twice named her one of the 50 most influential Jews in the world. And we agree. Ladies and gentlemen, my pleasure to introduce Stand With Us CEO, Roz Rothstein.
Thank you, Esther Renzer. Hi, everybody. I also want to welcome you here tonight for the 2023 Festival of Lights. During this very challenging time when our community needs so badly to join our hearts together for Israel, for the hostages, for our soldiers, and for the Jewish people worldwide, and facing so much anti-Semitism worldwide and anti-Zionism, we appreciate every single one of you in this room tonight. I have a new appreciation, a new love for the Jewish people. We feel each other's pain. We are one family. All of us are literally in limbo together right now, waiting for the hostages, waiting to hear what's happening in the war. And this is personal. We don't have to work to make it personal. It is personal. I would like to take a moment and congratulate our international staff who are watching us from cities around the world right now. Wave to them and say thank you. We love you. You guys are the ones that make all the magic happen. Thank you for another year of tremendous work and growth and effective results, even in the face of such tremendous challenges. Special thanks to our incredible Esther Renzer, President Esther Renzer, and our extraordinary Chief Operating Officer, Jerry Rothstein. This is such a difficult time. It's the most difficult time we have ever lived through as a people since the Holocaust. But like our people have done before us and the shoulders we stand on through the ages as they suffered oppression, were told to wear special yellow hats and stars, were thrown out of one country after another, paid special taxes, were banned from holding most jobs, were boycotted, lived in ghettos, and even suffered violent anti-Semitism like we witnessed on October 7th. We were always, always resilient. Even after the Holocaust, our precious Holocaust survivors were resilient, like David Weiner, who survived many concentration camps. David, I wonder if you could please stand so we can recognize you. David Weiner. That's right. Thank you, everybody. That's exactly right. David, thank you for being here. I love you. And Leo David's family left before the Holocaust. They escaped from Nazi Germany. I'd like him to stand up. Leo David, please stand up. Thank you. Thank you all. That's exactly right. We need to honor those people who survived Nazi Germany and everything that happened then. Through it all, we always stood tall, like our survivors of the Holocaust. And we brought joy to one another through it all. We are even commanded to do so. And part of that joy is bringing light to the world, as we do literally when we light candles. And tonight, as we celebrate the fourth night of Hanukkah and together stand united, it is my pleasure to invite to the stage a few very close friends of Stand With Us, Rabbi Bookstein, Rabbi Dunner, Rabbi Mentz, and Rabbi Markman. Rabbis, please join us on the stage for the lighting of the fourth Hanukkah candle. I'm going to say this publicly. I love you all. I love you all. Don't get scared, but I do.
By the way, this is a miracle. You got Aisha, Torah, Young Israel, and Chabad here. Wow, the miracle of Hanukkah. I love it. By the way,
and Radomsk.
There's a fire department code 770-613 that doesn't allow you to use fire flames. So we're going to be lighting an electric menorah because it is Hanukkah. So all those, we're going to be using Hashem instead of God's real name. Are we ready to roll? Ready to roll?
Never been ready.
Let's do it.
We have to do it again.
After the brachas. Okay.
All right, please sing along with us.
Baruch atah Hashem Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddush v'tzivonu lahadlik ner shel Chanukah. Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa nisim lavoteinu ba-da-da-bam-bam bayamim oheim b'zman hazeh. May all the hostages get out. May our soldiers do their job. And may we all celebrate with an unbelievable song of thanks to the Almighty. They didn't pay the electric bill. Everybody, let's sing it together. Let's do it. Oh,
And now, please welcome to the stage our new Consul General of Israel in Los Angeles, Israel Bachar.
Good evening. Stand with us. From day one, I asked this community to stay strong with us. And you have. Thank you to the Stand With Us family. The people of Israel know how hard work you do. We know how hard your love to us. We know how hard you have been fighting for Israel around the clock, non-stop, from the first moment of this horrific war. You are, and always have been, what I call the fighting Jew. You understand there is no difference between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism. From campus to Congress, you are fighting on every front. You will not let brutality and mass murder go unanswered. And I know you will not rest until all of our hostages are back home. And I'm so thankful to have survivor of Kibbutz Be'eri, the Nova Festival, and other kibbutzim in the South with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, this war is not about territory. It is about terrorism, anti-Semitic global terrorism. And we know we can depend on you, Roz, Jerry, Esther, and all of you in this room, to never give up the fight. Tonight, we are here at the Festival of Lights, and in the dark and difficult moment, there are rays of light. That light is seen in Israel unity and Israel humanity. And we see that light tonight in your passion and mission to take sure Israel's story is told and our enemies are called out. Your powerful educational programs and social media posts lights up screens in the millions fighting the war of lies with truth. Let me assure you, the people of Israel see you. The people of Israel love your support, and it lifts and strengthens and protects them. And now, join me in the three most important words of our lifetime. Am Israel Chai. Chanukah Sameach. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Israeli actress and one of the stars of the Netflix series The Beauty Queen of Jerusalem, Swell Ariel Or.
Good evening, everyone, and Chag Sameach. I feel very much lucky to be here with you tonight, together, to bring light to the darkness, not only with our Chanukah candles, but also with our unity. Before October 7th, I came to Rose and Stand With Us, and I told them I want to be a speaker alongside my dream to bring the Oscars home to Israel. I wanted to, yes, we're going to do it. I wanted to use my voice to help fight ignorance and darkness by simply standing up for my beloved country, Israel. And then October 7th happened. I've lost 3 childhood friends on that day, and 4 others since then. And like so many of you, we still have a lot of friends and family there. And the last few weeks have been devastating. I'm worried every single day. And it's really hard to be so far away. It is. I deeply feel the devastation, like so many of you guys. And tonight, we have with us special people who have used their own personal pain and their stories to educate the public about what happened on October 7th. Our first witness survived the Nova Festival massacre. Please welcome Karen Haddad.
My name is Karen Haddad, and I'm here as a witness. I was at the Nova Festival. I saw the death and destruction by Hamas, and I escaped with my life, and this is my story. I arrived at the Nova Festival at 1 a.m. After we arrived, we slept until 3 a.m. While we waited for my friend Bruna to join us. When she arrived, we all danced from 3 till 6:15, and it was a wonderful and the happiest day of my life. When we got back to our tent, Bruna said she was going to visit another friend of hers in another tent. We stayed in our tent and started hearing rockets at 6:30. I called my sister at 6:50, and I said, I love you, and tell all the family I love them too. We left the tent and looked for the car. We didn't understand what was happening, and we didn't know what to do. We started running, and I felt as it was, and I was going to die. We got into the car. There was a lot of traffic and people rushing around. Further down the road, a woman covered in blood told us that we shouldn't go straight because there was a lot of terrorists there. She screamed at us to turn around, and that's what we did. We took a different turn, and we arrived at this kibbutz called Alumim. We heard shooting as soon as we arrived at the kibbutz gate. So we jumped out of the car and laid on the ground next to the car, trying to hide. We started praying Shema Israel. While the terrorists, they were constantly shooting at our car, they trying to kill the 5 of us. This lasted about 30 minutes, and then we saw a soldier, an IDF soldier. I asked him if he was one of us. And then my friend, she kept saying, stop, shut up, like don't ask him. If you cooperate, maybe he's not gonna kill us. But I knew he was one of us. This soldier was behind the bushes trying to protect us. There were 4 soldiers around us, and they told us to get down and crawl into a field, jumped over the fence, and hide behind the wall of a shelter. We followed his instructions, and he covered us. As we made out of a way there, all the while he was shouting that another soldier had been wounded. As soon as we were behind the shelter, he went back into the field to get the wounded soldier, Noam, who had been hit by 3 bullets while he eliminated 2 of the terrorists trying to kill us. We called Magen David Adom, barely able to speak ourselves from shock, and were able to give them our location so they could come and evacuate Noam. Many other injured people covered in in blood kept arriving to seek shelter with us. It was a chaotic scene. Still in utter shock, none of us could comprehend the extent of what was happening. One of the soldiers then told us that we had to leave the shelter immediately, that the terrorists were getting closer to us. One of the guys hiding with us said we could make a dash for his car that was nearby. 8 of us decided to join him. Once in the car, we realized that the roads were blocked, but we managed to get to Netivot, a city next to the party. The sirens were all around us. We jumped out of the car to take cover in a random building. People started running towards us, noticing that we were barefoot with no belongings, and they asked us where we had come from and what was happening. They gave us water, food, and took us into their homes. We spent the day there until around 8 p.m., until we realized it was safe, and one of our friend's fathers came to pick us up and took us to Tel Aviv, where my sister came to pick me up. During the day, Bruna, our friend, who had gone to the other tent to visit her work colleagues, was in touch with us for several hours. At one point, Bruna was saying she was worried about us, and then she felt safe. That's why she chose not to escape with us. Within a few hours, Bruna was texting my sister, saying there was shooting all around and that she didn't think that she was going to make it out alive. When our communication with Bruna stopped, I presumed that her body has died. We had no idea that she has been a victim along with her work friends that she had remained with. Her body was found 3 days later. There are people that are saying that the massacre of violation of 1,200 people on October 7, it never happened. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen, for being so brave and sharing your story. And now we have the privilege to hear from another young witness, a 14-year-old survivor of the massacre at Kibbutz Be'eri. Please welcome Ella Shani.
Hello everyone, my name is Ella Shani Kazin. I'm 14 years old. I used to live in Kibbutz Be'eri in Israel. On October 7th, I would like to tell you my story, and I would like to say that during the horrific events of October 7th, my father was brutally murdered. My cousin was kidnapped, but thankfully he came back last week. Both of my grandparents were shot. My grandmother got hit by 2 bullets who hurt her liver and one that hurt her elbow and back. After 9 hours of bleeding with no electricity, sitting in a dark room, bleeding from 3 wounds of bullets, with 3 living terrorists in her house, her and my grandfather were taken to the hospital, to an urgent surgery, and both survived. My uncle's house was burned down completely. My grandparents' and dad's house were destroyed. And now I'm here giving these talks because I think many people question what happened that day. I can tell you, when I was rescued along with my brother, my mother, and a friend of my brother, we've seen many horrific sights. I've seen mutilated bodies, Israelis who were burned. Their body parts were cut off, they were covered with blood, and some of them were my friends. And now many people, I also posted my story on social media, and I was called a liar. Now I'm here to say, I got many comments on what I posted. Many people said I'm lying. Many people said it looks like I'm reading off my phone. People said things like, she should have died with her father. She should have had it worse. Her dad must be dancing in hell. Can she stop lying already? Israeli propaganda going crazy. These are the comments I got, and I honestly am not going to take them really seriously because these are always the people without the picture or the name. This anti-Semitism, it's always there. And now I'm here. If it was up to me, I was now in Israel, honestly, hugging my cousin who came back last week. But I've seen families, and there are 140 more hostages who are still held in captivity by the Gaza Strip. Now, I know it's probably hard to relate, but you have no idea how urgent that is when it's someone from your family. And now I'm here to say it loud and clear. What happened that day? That was a massacre. Honestly, that was the worst massacre after the Holocaust that the Jewish nation has ever suffered. People were beheaded that day. People were burned alive. Women were raped. People had their body parts cut off. People were shot. Parents were tortured behind their children, and children tortured in front of their parents, I'm sorry. And these people were my friends. I have names. I lost too many friends that day, and we can't even process all of it yet. And I was criticized for not crying. Like I have to cry and victimize myself to make anyone believe my story. So no, I want to stay strong, and I'm not here to cry in front of you and act like a baby. I'm here to tell you my story. And if you're actually humane, as you claim to be, I think everyone would understand just by hearing that these events happened. You should understand how wrong that is. I would like to say that during the events, I had some interaction with Israeli soldiers, and they couldn't act better than they did. Yeah, they deserve it. When they just walked into my house, they looked at me. I was shaking, and they could see just by the look on my face how terrified I was that day. They hugged me, they shook my hand, and they asked me to go bring my shoes so I won't even feel like I'm in a rush. They prepared us, they told us that we're going to see many things outside and we should prepare ourselves. But I have to say, they stood in front of us, and while we were rescued, they were always running around us, making sure if a bullet's come from any direction, it's gonna hit them and not us. My brother, at some point during the rescue, I remember looking at the floor of one house they removed us to. The floor was covered in blood, and there were inner body parts scattered around the living room. I don't want to think what happened to the poor person whose insides these were, but I remember just covering my little brother's eyes. Again, I'm 14. I think I should cover his eyes when there's an inappropriate scene on TV. The kind of scenes even I shouldn't watch, so Mom, please don't watch this. And I think that's when I should cover my little brother's eyes, and not when someone's insides is spilled all over the floor. My brother remembered many things of that day, and he asked me things like, Ella, did you see the dead people? Ella, I think they had some red paint on them. So much innocence. So we were born into this. We're used to having fires around the kibbutz all the time, and we're used to hearing rocket sirens every month. But we still live there like the brave Israelis we are, and we love that place more than anything. Now we're fighting against the hatred we're receiving from all over the world, trying to protect our soldiers. When people call our soldiers genocide, they call them people who commit genocide. I want to say the IDF soldiers are the bravest and most reasonable, humane people in the whole world. Yeah. And now I stand here and say that even after I was rescued, after we arrived at Tel Aviv and started hearing about who we lost, there were siren alarms of rockets all over Tel Aviv just after we were rescued, and us were wearing nothing but our pajamas, with tears covering our faces, covered with our own vomit, pee, and blood, laid on the floor while hearing the sirens, and 6 Israeli soldiers came and laid on us, so that if a rocket hits there, they'll take it instead of us. 2 soldiers took me personally to wash my face and made sure I had a place to stay for the night, because I obviously can't go back home. Many people now talk about other people who are displaced. I just want to say there are hundreds of thousands of Israelis who are displaced. I can go back home. And that's why I'm now here, and people think I'm okay because I have a place to stay in. And I am, and I'm thankful for what I have. But it doesn't mean what was done to us was okay. And people have to stop justifying or denying what happened on October 7th. These people were my friends, and they deserve the least of respect when we talk about what happened to them. For conclusion, I believe most of you agree with me when we need right now two things. One, let's know the truth. Remember and not forget. We won't let these people turn us off, deny what happened to us, to our people, and we will keep raising awareness about these people and about the hostages because we value human life. Thank you very much. Happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Ella, for being who you are, and thank you for the light and the strength. I'm really happy that your cousin is home. We have all heard that they were heroes who helped during those horrific hours of the massacres on October 7th. People who grabbed their guns and put on the uniforms and rushed into the scene where hundreds of terrorists were torturing, raping, murdering, and kidnapping people. People like this man, Yair, a former Israeli general who lived the definition of a selfless hero. Without giving it much thought, he put on his uniform and took his gun and went into the firestorm to see what he could do to help. Here is his story.
Well, I woke up 6:30, something like this. Messages. Something is really strange is happening there. So I think by 8 o'clock, 8:30, I told my wife, Ruti, that I cannot stay at home anymore. I put on my old uniforms, I took a rifle, and drive my car straight away to the south. Just stay at home and do nothing. This is not an option. I got a phone call from my sister, and she asked me whether I can take out of the combating zone people who escaped the Nova Festival. So I decided, all right, I have a rifle, I have my combat gear, it's enough. So let's drive there and take the people out. I got off-road and managed to find 3 guys hiding in the bushes. I called them, listen, it's me, General Golan, it's okay, you are safe, you can come out of the bushes, and that's what they did. And I took them out. It was, inside the bushes for about 12 hours. And then I got another phone call. All in all, 6 guys. So this is my very modest contribution. And I think I'm not so unique, many people, many civilians did the same.
נכנס עוד פעם פנימה למצוא עוד פצועים, עוד ניצולים שמתחבאים או לא יודע, או פצועים באיפשהו בדרך, וחוזר חזרה, ככה נגלה אחרי נגלה, הובלה אחרי הובלה.
חלצנו באותו היום הזה לא פחות מ-30-40 אדם שהיו בתוך המסיבה.
כשהגיעו החבר'ה, הם הגיעו בלי טלפונים, כולם בוכים, התחלתי לתת להם מים, להרגיע אותם.
היינו אומרים לו, אתה בסדר, מחבקים אותו, נותנים לו מים לשתות, שטפים לו את הפנים.
ונתנו להם טלפונים שלנו, שכל אחד יתקשר להורים שלו.
And I would say this is a kind of a revelation for the Israeli society right now. After many, many months of, struggling politically against each other, what we see right now is a kind of solidarity I would say, never ever saw before. Every crisis has some sort of a hidden opportunity inside. We should build something positive out of this crisis. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
We have a little something for you because our hearts are full by what you did and so grateful. When you save a person, you save a universe, and you were able to do that. And so we have this award for you as a guardian of Israel. And we also have an award for each of you for your courage to tell your incredible stories. Keep telling it. Keep telling it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand together in honor of all the victims and for all the fallen soldiers who are fighting so well for the safety of Israel. Thank you. I'd like to thank you all for this special occasion. It's a great honor to be here this night. And I would like to say also that we have one mission and two goals. And the mission is to bring back home all the hostages. As soon as possible. It's a national commitment, it's the commitment of our people. And we will do it. And we will use any measure in order to bring them back as soon as possible. And we have two goals: security and hope, hope and security. My father escaped Germany in 1935. He was a soldier as well. He served in the IDF for 24 years. And I asked him many times, what motivated you along these years? And he told me the following: it was never about revenge. It was never about hate. It was always about hope, about building. Our answer, our national answer to all those who try to kill us is one. We are going to build the best nation upon earth. And according to these guidelines, we are going to make together, and I mean literally together, the enveloping area around the Gaza Strip as the most prosperous, the best region of Israel, a flourishing region, a place where young people, like the wonderful women you just heard, and they all will have this desire to live there. This is our answer to Hamas. This is our answer to all those who try to kill us. This is the answer for our own people. We have no intention to revenge. We have intention and determination to build and to build and to build hope and security, security and hope. Thank you very much.
Please welcome to the stage to sing Shema Israel and Bring Them Home, Sapir Tzema.
Hi, everybody. I would love to say, first of all, thank you for this special evening and so important event. And I would like to say thank you, first of all, to Stand With Us, amazing organization who invited me to be here with you tonight. And I'm so honorable to sing for you. I would love to start with a song, more like a prayer song, called Shema Israel in Hebrew. Because I think we're all praying for better days, respecting our brothers who's no longer with us. And still with that, we are full with hope and we keep our faith because this is the kind of nation and kind of people we are. And this is what I love the most about us, that we are fighters. And everyone here that know these lyrics, please join me. Music is the best therapy. כשהלב בוכה, רק אלוהים שומע, הכאב עולה מתוך הנשמה. אדם נופל לפני שהוא שוקע, בתפילה קטנה חותכת הדממה. שמע ישראל אלוהי, אתה הכל יכול. נתת לי את חיי, נתת לי הכל. בעיניי דמעה, הלב בוכה בשקט. וכשהלב בוכה, הנשמה זועקת. שמע ישראל אלוהי, עכשיו אני לבד. חזק אותי אלוהי, עשה שלא אבחר. הכאב גדול ואין לאן לברוח. עשה שיגמר, כי לא נותר בי כוח. כשהלב בוכה, הזמן עוצר מלכת. האדם רואה את כל חייו פתאום. אל הלא נודע, הוא לא רוצה ללכת. לאלוהיו קורא על סף תהום. שמע ישראל אלוהי, אתה הכל יכול. נתת לי את חיי, נתת לי הכל. בעיניי דמעה, הלב בוכה בשקט. וכשהלב בוכה, הנשמה זועקת. שמע ישראל אלוהי, עכשיו אני לבד. חזק אותי אלוהי, עשה שלא אבחר. הכאב גדול ואין לאן לברוח. עשה שיגמר, כי לא נותר בי כוח. שמע ישראל אלוהי, אתה כל יכול. נתת לי את חיי, נתת לי הכל. בעיניי דמעה, הלב בוכה בשקט. וכשהלב בוכה, הנשמה זועקת. שמע ישראל אלוהי, עכשיו אני לבד. חזק אותי אלוהי, עשה שלא אבחר. הכאב גדול ואין לאן לברוח. עשה שיגמר, כי לא נותר בי כוח. Thank you. Thank you so much. I came here from Israel 2 months ago, and I can say personally that I also have relatives, family, friends who survived the festival, and also friends that unfortunately didn't survive and brutally murdered, sorry. And I can tell you that even when I'm speaking with them and myself, I came here like she said earlier, to bring Oscar home. I came here to bring Grammy home. And then I found myself here going from event to event because my heart is there, obviously, and doing whatever we can, and we are doing a lot. Every one of you doing a lot. And we focus now all of our energy before we start even to think about healing or grieving. We're focusing all of our energy to bring them home, the hostages in Gaza that is not home right now. And we want to bring them to where they belong. So I would love to dedicate this song to the hostages, and we have to do all of our power to help them. Bring them home. Reach out your hand. There's a dream, there is a land. We have no other place. This is home. Over the sea, take my hand, follow me to our place that's strong and free. Bring them home. They were taken from their homes. They are hurt and all alone. There's just one thing to be done. Bring them home. Bring them home to the edges, promised land. God has given His command. Now their faith is in our hands. Bring them home to the edges, promised land. God has given His command. Now their faith is in our hands. bring them home. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was really beautiful and very much needed. At the same time as we are here together tonight, there are 137 hostages still being held in Gaza. One of those hostages, Amiram Cooper, who was one of the founders of Kibbutz Nir Oz. Today, he's turning 85. I know you all join in wishing him happy birthday and sending him prayers, and we are all wishing for his safety and for him to return back home as soon as possible. As Israel fights the physical war against terrorists and against countries like Iran who do not want to accept Israel's very existence, there is another war being fought for hearts and minds. A very real war that pushes out misinformation as its main tool to promote hatred for Israel and fuel anti-Semitism in high school, colleges, communities, and through social media platforms. Stand With Us is fighting back every day, in every single way. Let's learn how.
It was 6:30 a.m. here in Israel on October 7th when my wife and I rushed to the safe room, together with our 5 kids, as red alert sirens blared throughout the country. Little did we know then that our lives and our beloved home, Israel, would change forever that day. Multiple members of our staff were called up to serve in the IDF, and we wished them continued safety. The rest of our Stand With Us team sprang into action to fight the information war. As you know, Stand With Us has a presence on 6 continents, with offices in Australia, South Africa, Brazil, Argentina, the Netherlands, Canada, and the UK, working tirelessly to educate their communities and support students who are under immense pressure for their connection to Israel. And the most visible way we lead the charge globally is the online battleground of the internet and social media. We all saw that even as Israel was under Hamas attack, with terrorists murdering our people, Israel came under an online attack, with people both justifying the killing of women, children, and babies, and minimizing its brutality. We, of course, cannot let this stand, and you see it through our work online every minute of the day, around the world. And it's all happening from right here, the Stand With Us Cats Education Center in the heart of Jerusalem. Our team was prepared and jumped into action, reopening the Situation Room and providing millions with essential background and breaking stories about the Hamas war on Israel. Our weekly briefings, held since the first day of war, together with the IDF spokesperson, are watched by hundreds of thousands of people, hosting top-level analysts and diplomats.
I'd like to thank Stand With Us for the outstanding work that you do. You're brave, you're creative, you're smart, you're chutzpah. I've always enjoyed your content, and I think you are a role model for civil activism online, and I hope that you will continue to take this to new heights.
And recently, Congressman Richie Torres joined us and had this to say.
I would tell the Stand With Us community to remain active. You know, if the Jewish community does not speak out forcefully against anti-Semitism, then no one else will. Allies like me have to draw leadership from the Jewish community.
Our team is working non-stop around the clock, backed up by a multilingual staff around the world, translating Stand With Us resources in real time into Spanish, Dutch, Arabic, Portuguese, and much more. Just look at the reach of some of these clips posted on our Pollock social media platforms, educating about the situation, giving people vital action alerts, and telling the compelling personal stories of those that Hamas kidnapped. Based on analytics, we've seen a huge response, reaching far beyond Israel's regular supporters, and seen multiple celebrities using Stand With Us resources to express their solidarity with the Jewish state and the Jewish people, such as Kris Jenner, Amy Schumer, and Jerry Seinfeld. And another incredible celebrity helping to amplify our message is actually in the room tonight, and we'd like to honor him. He's known for the career management of numerous music industry artists, including Justin Bieber. but in addition to becoming one of the world's premier music moguls, he's also a proud Jew and a proud supporter of Israel. As the grandson of Holocaust survivors, he's used his platform to highlight the plight of Hamas hostages to his almost 4 million followers, to express his Jewish pride and to call for peace. For his inspiring leadership and for standing with Israel and the Jewish people, I'm proud to introduce the 2023 Stand With Us Festival of Lights honoree, Scooter Braun.
At a time when people are afraid to speak their minds, we have Scooter Braun, who is posting and posting and posting and teaching. And we are so grateful for your leadership and for him being this role model for other people who are afraid to speak. So for your leadership, Scooter, we have this beautiful etching of Jerusalem, and it says, presented to Scooter Braun for your inspiring leadership. Thank you for standing with Israel and the Jewish people. Thank you.
So I think in time like these, receiving honors, a little ridiculous, while I'm very appreciative. So in the honor of Tzedakah and Hanukkah, my 3 children I brought tonight because there's some things I wanted them to see and hear tonight. We do present tzedakah. So in honor of this, my family is going to be making a donation in support of the families that were affected on October 7th. I brought my soon-to-be 9-year-old, 7, and 5-year-old because I wanted them to see a room like this. I wanted them to see a room full of a small people, but a mighty people. And I wanted them to know what I've been saying over and over again and putting out there as much as I can, which is things are different. I have 2 Holocaust surviving grandparents who are in Dachau and Auschwitz, and before they went, they made me promise we would never be afraid again. And that's the thing that I want them to know. That's the thing I want every Jew to know. And Jagger, Levi, and Hart, this is your turn. What do I teach you? What do you say? What did Ma teach us? What they said, you guys got it. Yep, you got it. What they said is a Yiddish, Ich bin a Yiddish Kind. I am a Jewish child. And I really, really want everyone to know out there, anyone who's watching, we are strong, we are proud, we should not be afraid. The rhetoric will not beat us. Those are keyboard gangsters, half of them. And be proud of your faith, be proud of who you are. And I want to tell you a story about, last thing, because I told them I had to say this, but one day I decided to go down the rabbit hole and just look at some of the hate that was coming my way. And there was a lot of it. But there was one gentleman who wrote me, Nassim, and he said, I am a Palestinian American living in Los Angeles. Will you have a dialogue? And I wrote back, yes, I will. And we got on a Zoom. And when he came on the Zoom, he was wearing a hat that had the state of Israel covered completely in a Palestinian flag. And I said to him, do you understand what that means to me? And he said, yes, but you have to understand my people deserve to be free. And for the next 10 minutes, we had a dialogue, and we talked about how we both actually want peace. And I learned that Nassim was in the United States Air Force and protected the freedoms that we have here today, and he served amongst Jewish soldiers that were his friends. And after 10 minutes, Nassim took his hat and turned it backwards in respect. And I know this is a hard message to hear because there are many who don't believe in our existence, don't believe in who we are, and we're not going to change those minds. But I beg of you, like my grandmother taught me, she saw the absolute worst of humanity in the Holocaust, yet she came out being the most loving and kind grandmother in person to all of my friends of all shapes, colors, and sizes throughout my entire life. And I ask you to do what the Jewish people do best, which is just be better, and keep the dialogues going with those friends who you can have that dialogue with, and keep showing them exactly who we are and not what the rhetoric says we are. And I appreciate all of you, and I'm really glad my children got to see how strong the Jewish people are. Thank you.
Wow, our Stand With Us family is growing. It just keeps getting bigger. My 4 children grew up in a Jewish home. observing Shabbat and attending Jewish day schools and camps. In fact, they went to Harkim Hillel Hebrew Academy that brought you tonight's amazing Hatikvah. All four did a gap year in Israel, and in 2014, our son was a combat soldier in Gaza. As Jews, we raised our children to understand Israel as an integral part of our identity, and we hoped other parents were doing the same. Now, some of you might be shaking your heads right now because you know what I'm about to say. A 2013 Pew poll of Jewish Americans revealed that 75% of the youngest participants answered somewhat and not at all when they asked about their connection to Israel. We knew we had to act. My name is Mina Rush, and for the past 8 years, I have served as the National Director of the Stand With Us Middle School Department, and am the creator of the Israel Link Education Curriculum. Thank you. Thanks to the generosity of Larry and Sandy Post, Stand With Us brought together curriculum developers with one goal: to inspire middle school students to find their Israel connection. We found ourselves not just creating new content, but at the forefront of creating a new field in Jewish education, Israel education. And the teachers have expressed their deep appreciation to us for our work. Here's just a few examples from the over 1,000 teachers who have used Israel Link. My students ask me every day if they can please use Israel Link. We're talking about school, guys. What I love the most is to see how engaged my students are. Israel Link helps students to connect to Israel as a real place with real people. Over 12,000 students have already found connection, pride, and gratitude for our history and our homeland through the Israel Link curriculum at over 400 schools. Thanks. Making Israel an integral part of their Jewish identity. With your partnership, including the founders of our teacher training program, the Etta and David Jonas Foundation, students are now engaging with Israel, not through negative social media, not through biased school books, but with Stand With Us. It is our connection to Israel and the Jewish people that binds us together and has brought each of us here tonight. And we are sharing that with students who desperately need an infusion of Jewish pride. Hopefully, with the right mix of education and inspiration, many of our Israel Link students will grow up like the young man you're about to meet. He is a Kenneth Leventhal High School intern from San Diego and one of tonight's student honorees. Please join me in welcoming Nate Neustadt.
Thank you, Mina, for the amazing introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be with you tonight. There's a place in Israel called Sachne. Some of you might know it. It's a place where people go to enjoy warm, natural springs. I was there on a BBYO trip and found myself protecting young girls from Arab men who had surrounded us. My parents, who are in the crowd, absolutely hate this story, but I'll tell it anyway. One of them picked me up and threw me against the rocks. Then 3 kids, maybe 8 years old at most, started asking us in English, Israel or Palestine. I tried to talk to them, asking them to put down the rocks, and it was clear they didn't understand English or Hebrew. All they understood was to find out which side we were on so they could decide if they would try and hurt us. We were able to get away, and the cuts from the rocks healed. But what stayed with me were those kids. Nobody is born to hate others. Hate is taught. Today, we see hate on display in schools around the world just like this. A teacher at a Queens, New York high school went to a pro-Israel rally, and this is how her students reacted, rioting and calling for her to be fired. As a teenage Jew, I feel a responsibility to be a light unto the nations. So it made perfect sense for me to apply for the Stand With Us Kevin Leventhal High School internship. I had no idea that I'd be getting equipped to fight the most dire information war Israel and the Jewish people have faced since the Holocaust. My internship, including the mentoring of my Stand With Us regional manager, has given me newfound confidence and a much broader knowledge about Israel and the conflict, and most importantly, how to affect positive change in my community. This is why I felt confident enough to organize a packed room of teachers and administrators and help them understand what it's like to be a Jewish student in today's world. I created curricula to distribute and use as presentations, which have now become a part of BBYO's worldwide Israel campaign. And I am so proud to say that I was among a small group of students who spoke at last month's March for Israel in DC. Thank you. I am just one of nearly 200 Kenneth Leventhal interns who are part of a year-long program during which we're taught how to lead and how to teach our schools and communities about Israel and the Jewish people. Some of us are even the only Jews in our high schools. The Leventhal interns collectively educate more than 100,000 of our fellow students every year. To date, the high school program has reached over 1 million students in the US since its inception. And with your help, we will continue to bring the light that brings love instead of hate, and valuable and accurate information to our peers. I've been able to fight the war of words armed with the skills and knowledge that Stand With Us gave me. Wherever I go, Stand With Us will always be a part of my journey. Soon, I hope to be part of Stand With Us on campus, where I know that I'll have the support of the Stand With Us resources, including the legal team that protects the civil rights of Jewish and pro-Israel students nationwide, and whose director is here with us tonight to share how she and her amazing legal team have been doing just that. Please help me welcome the director of the Stand With Us Side-Off legal team, Yael Lerman.
Thank you, Nate. It's students like you that inspire our work. This is important because since October 7, we have received more requests for legal help than ever before, 10 times the usual amount, and it's coming from everywhere, high schools, colleges, and the community. This is why we founded the Stand With Us Side-Off Legal Department nearly a decade ago, to protect the rights of anyone facing discrimination and harassment, physical assaults, criminal threats, and a pervasively hostile climate because they are Jews or Zionists. One of the biggest problems we are facing today is that university presidents, like the ones we just heard in the congressional hearing this week, and campus police are refusing to enforce their policies to protect our students. We don't need new laws. We need the ones that exist to be applied equally to our Jewish students. Stand With Us's legal team has built a reputation for being the first responder on any matter and providing direct legal help and proven success. We work on the local, state, and federal levels. Our legal team also includes the help of over 350 pro bono attorneys and some of the best law firms in the nation. Here are just 4 examples of cases from our hotline since October 7. At a Florida university, a Stand With Us Emerson fellow posted support for Israel, and in response, a male acquaintance began to harass her online and to stalk her. She had attended Stand With Us's legal training over the summer, and she knew what to do. She immediately filed a bias complaint, and the student who harassed her has been expelled. At a California university, one of our Emerson students was assaulted when she was tabling for Israel. We helped her file a discrimination complaint and initiate criminal proceedings. The Palestinian assailant, a first-year student, has been banned from campus pending the outcome of the investigation, and we are in direct touch with the district attorney's office for the prosecution. At a Midwest university, a physics graduate student tweeted, "Hitler was right." This is on top of an egregiously hostile campus climate at this particular university. So we are filing a Title VI federal complaint against the university, and we are looking into lawsuits at over a dozen universities with law firms that we are partnering with. And at George Mason University, Students for Justice in Palestine held a rally on campus. This rally violated state laws and school policies. A Jewish student was assaulted. The police know who assaulted the Jewish student and have taken no action. The president has taken no action. We sent a legal demand letter, and we brought it directly to the desk of the Virginia Attorney General. 2 weeks ago, the Virginia Attorney General directed all universities in Virginia to address anti-Semitism and specifically referenced the points in our legal letter. These are just 4 cases out of over 600 that we are working on since October 7. Our goal is for anyone who comes to stand with us to walk away with a solution, support, and most importantly, feeling empowered and strong in their Jewish and Zionist identity. The best way to show anti-Semites that they aren't going to win is when we stand strong and show them that we are ready to fight. That is what we do in our legal department, and we thank you for your support. Thank you.
What is it like to be a Jew at NYU?
People feel unsafe walking around with the kippah or walking around with the Star of David.
Because 36 hours ago, I, along with most of campus, sought refuge in our rooms. As classmates and professors chanted proudly for the genocide of Jews while igniting smoke bombs and defacing school property.
Hamas are Palestinians! Okay? All of us, Hamas!
Students on our campus calling out by name explicitly that they want certain students on this campus to die slowly.
Would love it if they would do it again, and again, and again, and again.
Does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's code of conduct when it comes to bullying and harassment? Yes or no?
The terrorist state of Israel is responsible for the crimes against humanity beyond Palestine. Glory to the martyrs!
Fuck you,
Really?
Oh, you love a terrorist organization. Interesting. Harvard Square, everyone.
Hamas, I think they're all dirty people.
I, like most college students, am interested in social justice. But in May 2021, as Israel responded to rocket barrages from Gaza, my peers abandoned me, and I awoke to the harsh reality of anti-Semitism and the isolation I felt in my community. The causes I was passionate about just didn't have the space to include Jews. Me too, unless you're a Jew, right? My name is Gabby Schiller, and this was the entrance to my school at Hunter College at the City University of New York just a few weeks ago. It's hard to describe how alone college students can feel in these environments. It's just the new normal for Jews around the world now, especially on our college campuses. And while Jews suffer this relentless abuse, masses of people either justify this abuse or become silent onlookers. The last time that this happened, my Zaidi ended up in the Szkarzysko and Buchenwald concentration camps. But that's why I'm standing here today, because of never again, and because of a mantra that my grandfather taught me that I swore to live by. Failure is not an option. We simply do not accept failure as the final result because we have no other option. That's why we have Israel, and that's why I'm so proud to be a part of Stand With Us, not only to honor his legacy and to ensure failure is not an option, but to be on the front lines of the work that we do, helping Jews and our allies carry out that very same mission. As an Emerson Fellow, I became empowered to organize educational events and inspire my peers. It was incredible to know that I finally wasn't alone. I knew I loved Israel, that was always there, but I finally had a way to teach and reach others. Since 2007, Emerson Fellows across North America have reached over 1 million college students who desperately need to hear that pro-Israel voice, especially with classmates and their professors saying things like this on their campus. Intifada, Intifada! Mobilize the Intifada! Mobilize the Intifada! We know what it means to globalize the Intifada. It's a call for violence in cities around the world. And it's our responsibility, not just to ourselves, but to our campus community as a whole, to mobilize and expose this hate and these calls to violence. There are over 200 Emerson Fellows across the world, in Brazil, South Africa, Australia, the Netherlands, the UK, Canada, and of course, right here at home, across the US. We're representing your priorities and the entire and Jewish pro-Israel world right here on campus in the face of deep intolerance and bigotry. That's why I came to work here at Stand With Us, and I am now the New England High School Regional Manager. Thank you. For all the students who are being bullied and being isolated, and for all of them afraid to speak up, and in honor of my grandfather, I'm working to ensure that all the other students know that they are not alone against the world like I was before I found this community. I thank every single one of you in this room for standing with me, for standing for truth and justice, and for standing with us. Thank you. Thank you.
We would say new. All right, we have superstar kids here who we're honoring tonight, and we are so proud of you. We even hired you. That's how proud we are. And Nate, you're a superstar. And what is really important, you're a Kenneth Leventhal intern. You're a Emerson Fellow. Well, you were. And you were leaders that everybody emulates, you see. That's why they're here. They are role models. This is what we're trying to create. So you are the future, and you are the current, really. They're really inspiring their peers right now. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you from everybody in this room, and thank you for everybody who's watching us. Here are your awards tonight. Come here and I'll read it. Come. Okay. In recognition of your courage, leadership, and commitment to standing up for Israel and fighting anti-Semitism. Thank you. Thank you. They leave, I stay. So, I hope you like the program so far. Do you? Yeah? We started this organization 22 years ago to educate about Israel and to fight anti-Semitic hate. And we worked so hard to build this organization for students around the world like these guys that you just saw. And we did it. It was incredibly difficult. We worked really hard. Our board of directors know that we don't sleep. They know I don't sleep. And now I'm not eating since October 7th, but forget that. I have nothing to complain about. And we became one of the fastest growing organizations in the world that educates about Israel and fights anti-Semitism. We're working on 6 continents, as you heard. And we have 170 passionate employees in cities around the world who are watching. And love you guys. Literally, they make the magic happen. Since October 7th, many people have said that Stand With Us actually came into existence 22 years ago and built this giant international platform because of October 7th. But what if we didn't exist? What if we had no legal department? And what if we had no way to help students in schools and communities? What if Zionist students on college campuses who regularly face boycott campaigns and Hamas supporters like we saw, and discrimination from professors, and had no Stand With Us campus professionals, no Stand With Us strategists that we have, like they're here in this room tonight, and no legal experts to fight for them? What if we did not exist? What if we had no media team to fight the toxic information war? Since October 7th, you heard this, but I'm going to repeat it because it's a mind-boggling number. We have had over 1 billion interactions on our social media platforms, reaching millions of people every single day. Thank you, social media people watching. Just take a look at this one brand new video that we just posted this morning. It's 1 minute. Watch this.
My name is Noah and I'm 24 years old. I always wear my Star of David because it's important to me to showcase my Jewish identity and my love for my homeland. The same way that I can't hide the color of my skin, the texture of my hair, or any other aspect of who I am, I can't hide the fact that I'm Jewish, and no one should have to.
My name is Naomi. I'm 31 years old and I live in the Netherlands. Every day I wear my Star of David with great pride, and I will never stop wearing it out of fear because it's part of who I am. And I want all of you to know that you all have the right to feel proud of who you are.
My name is Lilia. I'm 29 years old and I wear my Jewish star every single day. As anti-Semitism in all its treacherous forms steeply rises across the United States and around the world, I feel that it is now more important than ever to celebrate who I am and to take pride in my Jewish identity.
My name is Stephanie. I'm 33 years old and I wear my Jewish star every day because it's a part of my life, it's my identity, my blood, my core, and it's my connection to my ancestors.
We produce videos like that all the time. And we do so much more, like Holocaust education programs in the classrooms, in North American classrooms, like our growing office in Brazil, directed by Andre Last, who is a force of nature and is here with us tonight somewhere in the room, and who just opened our brand new office in Argentina. Bravo, Andre. Bravo, Andre. Continue to go from strength to strength. We need you so badly. We have distributed millions of inspiring materials which have been translated into other languages and are available online. Through our interfaith, we have interfaith programs all the time. We bring together Hindu, Christian, and Black allies to actively stand with us. And by the way, any of you who are not Jewish tonight and are with us, thank you. Thank you. Just know that we need you now more than ever. We just doubled our space in the Jerusalem office, so now we can reach even more students from all over the world who come to Israel throughout the year and are brought by buses to the Katz Education Center for inspiring sessions. And we have a growing Rabbis United department where Zionist rabbis from every denomination have access to our speakers and our resources and our programs for their own congregations. Imagine how viral Stand With Us goes. We are effective and we need to stay strong because anti-Semitic discrimination and bullying cannot stand. And that's right. You agree? You agree. Anti-Semitic bullying cannot stand. And we cannot be passive. We must be strategic and proactive in fighting back and creating the Zionist leaders of tomorrow. We must do everything we can to retain American support for Israel, not just at the highest levels of government, but at the grassroots, the students who will be our future leaders and voters. But every year, we are faced with raising the Stand With Us international budget again. The tasks at hand are more demanding than ever before. Anti-Semites have become shameless. They're more shameless than ever, whether they are student groups, college presidents, professors, the United Nations. I was just there, by the way. On the 24th of October, I was sick. I went inside. Oh my God, don't even ask. Okay, social media influencers who are anti-Semitic, athletes, actors, and the list goes on. We need to add to our legal team, guys. We need to help more students on campuses and more high schools and increase our social media staff. We need to fight the information war now. We need to expand we need to expand our middle school efforts and so much more. So tonight, we ask you for your help. We are fighting for the Jewish world. We are fighting for the Jewish future. We're fighting for you, for your children, and your grandchildren. This is all we do. This is all we do. We stay on mission. We don't creep around and do anything else. You've seen the problems we're facing, and you know that Stand With Us is one of the best weapons that you have against this hate. So tonight, I want to ask you to help us empower more students like Nate and Gabby. Help us enter 2024 with the financial strength that we need now. If we do not, this is a scary thing, if we do not raise the money we need tonight, our student conference in March is at risk, and we cannot let that happen. Just that one event costs $1 million. That's because we bring students together from all over the world, mainly from the United States and Canada, but from all over the world. Together, we need to bring them together so they know they're not alone in this fight. We need to support courageous Zionist college and high school students from all over the world. Go on. And by the way, assuming that we have our big conference, which we will, I hope, it will be local. So we're going to send an invitation out to all of you, and you can join us and see what the kids are learning and be proud. And I want to thank Adam and Gila Milstein for always co-sponsoring that important conference every single year. Thank you, Adam and Gila. Thank you. You helped us grow to this point where now we need $1 million to have the same conference. So you need some partners, right? Wherever you are, I'm sure you're nodding your heads. Every dollar raised tonight will go directly into programming because of the generosity of the Side-Offs and the Lettermans. So thank you. So from the bottom of my heart, I ask you to please give generously to help us fight the anti-Semitism we all see with our own eyes. And please make Stand With Us one of your most important organizations for such a time as this. We are blessed to be partners with two incredible philanthropists, Debbie and Nati Seidoff.
There is a saying that the lie gets around the world twice before the truth puts its pants on. That's why we have Stand With Us.
I am so overwhelmed. Thank you all so much. Keep your seats. The dessert will be there for a long time. Here is Ilan Gold.
Thank you. Come on, everybody. I can't hear you. Yes. Wow. Thank you so much. Oh, my goodness. Shh. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Yes. It's a tired audience. I have 3 more words for everyone here tonight. Am Yisrael Chai. Look at this beautiful crowd here tonight. Look at this beautiful crowd. 12,500 people, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. That's right. We're going to laugh now. We're going to take a break from the horror and from the hell, and we are going to laugh because it's Hanukkah. It's a joyous time. It's a mitzvah to laugh. If you don't laugh, it's an avera. That's right. 40 lashes for anyone that doesn't laugh at my jokes tonight. But we're going to laugh tonight. We're going to learn. We learned a lot. We learned how many rabbis it takes to light an electric menorah. Apparently, even 4 couldn't cut it. We learned that 3 times 50 is 150. I learned some good news backstage. The DNA results came in, and Steve Emerson, you are my biological father. Yeah, anyone that gives $850,000, I will call Dad gladly. I love performing for my people. I'm such a proud Jew. I'm a proud Zionist, and I love my people. It's just, yes, it's very different when I perform for non-Jews. You know what I mean? Non-Jews sit there, they can't wait to laugh. Jews can't wait to leave. Half of this crowd has left already. They're getting dessert? Well, I hope dessert's funnier than this stuff. Well, I'm here to make fun of everything. All the idiots out there, all the haters out there. Everybody's unbelievable. All the protests. Here's the crazy thing. I went shopping this morning for some Hanukkah gifts. I went to the Palisades Mall. Across the street, there are a few people screaming, "Free Palisades." I'm like, what the hell? Why are they protesting malls now? They're protesting the Grove. From the Zara's to the C's candy. It's unbelievable. But at least we know now the good guys from the bad guys. And let me say this. The bad guys, they're out there protesting river to the sea. The good guys are here tonight protecting everyone from the river to the sea. Yeah. That's the difference between the good guys and the bad guys. Now we know who are the good guys, who are the bad guys. The good guys and gals, the great Congresswoman Stefanik, right? The bad guys, those three putzes, horrible excuses for presidents. By the way, I also have an exciting announcement. I am the new president of UPenn. Yeah, apparently to get the job, you just have to be able to use the word yes in a sentence. We know the bad guys. Ilhan Omar, bad, yes. Elon Musk, we're not sure. It's very confusing. 1 second, he's like tweeting some weird stuff. The next second, he's in Israel doing great things. We're like, I don't know whether to love him or hate him. Let's love him for going to Israel. Am I right? Yes. We have to know who to hate, though. And we don't hate. We just hate back, right? We don't hate people. We hate back, right? We're done with people who hate us. We're done with Susan Saran, done. Yes, Susan Saran rap, I like to call her, because that's a rap on her career. All the hatred out there. I can't stand it. But the truth is, everyone here tonight is doing something. You're here because you care. You're here because you want to help Israel. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to do so much. I have been fighting online every second. I'm doing so much for Israel. I really am. I'm trying my best to do. I know it's a little self-aggrandizing. I sound like Trump up here. I've done so much for Israel. I think I've done more than anybody. Nobody did more for Israel than I did. Nobody did more for Israel than I did. Not even David Ben-Gurion. Not even David Ben-Gurion. Didn't do as much for Israel as, and by the way, I knew his father, Gurion. I knew Gurion. And he didn't do as much as I did. I gave you the Golan. I gave you the Golan Heights. I was going to keep it for myself. We were going to build. We were going to develop properties. We were going to make a golf course like in Florida. We were going to call it the Mar-a-Lago Lan Heights. We were going to do... I should just do that all night, and then we'll... Yes, thank you. You hold your applause. I know it's late. And I know some of you, yes. Some of you are wondering, well, what about Biden? Is he going to hit Biden? Well, you can't kick a man while he's falling down. I don't do a Biden impression. I'm working on it. Here's what I have so far. You ready? Here we go. Folks. That's all I got so far. But I really don't care about politics. I care about Israel. That's it. And when Trump does good stuff for Israel, that's amazing. And when Biden does good stuff, and he did, he went out there and he spoke beautifully and great, good for him. And then when he does stupid stuff like giving $6 billion to Iran, I'm like, let's go, Brandon. Some of you will have to explain that one to the others here. I'm here because I love Israel. I love Israelis. We're the Israelis tonight. We are with you. We are you. We are one. Although I always do this in my act, I talk about how Israelis are so different than Jews. You know what I mean? Diaspora Jews, right? Israelis are so different than us. Israelis fight back. Israelis will return fire. Jews return merchandise. We're a whole different kind of people. Israelis are battling terrorists as we speak. Jews, we're battling allergies as we speak. Israelis have to deal with boycotts, divestments, sanctions, BDS. Jews, we have to deal with IBS. Both really crappy movements, by the way. Really, both the irritable bowel and the boycott. Shit movements, I gotta say. They're really... Israelis are brave, they're strong, they're sexy. Jews, look around the room, you know what I'm talking about. We're not the sexiest bunch. I mean, Israelis are athletic. They get medals in the Olympics. Do you know how amazing that is? And it's such a proud moment for global Jewry when any Israeli gets any medal. And it's a huge thing for Israel, too. I remember a few years ago, these two Israeli athletes won the bronze medal. So they lost. But they were treated to a hero's welcome back home. They got to meet with the prime minister. There were parades for these two losers. Could you imagine sitting on a float, waving at thousands of people in a bronze medal? These two Israelis must have been like, almost. It was very close. Believe me, you don't know. We had a problem. There was a little problem. Believe me, trust me. We missed it by a bumper. We missed it. You have to understand, if you win the bronze in Russia, they put you to death. You show up there like, hello, you just won bronze medal. How would you like to be executed? You win the bronze in Iran, they will hang you with your bronze medal. Right in the center of Tehran, with all of the Persians walking by going, why they hang him? What, he gay? No, he won bronze medal. Oh, this worse than gay. You win the bronze in China, they send you to Teaneck, New Jersey, and force you to open up a kosher Chinese restaurant on Christmas Eve. Do you understand? But it's been a crazy time, people. It's been horrible. I feel like I'm watching everybody's, I feel like I'm watching like everybody play the world's oldest game show. You know what the world's oldest game show is, right? Let's blame the Jews. Right? Are you ready to play it now? We're going to play it now. Here we go. Welcome back to season 2000 of Let's Blame. I was hoping you guys wouldn't do that. That was a little weird. You see how easy it is to get a crowd to say stupid things? All right, here we go. We're going to play, though. Are you ready? This is what I feel like I'm watching these days. Okay, first question. He was a 33-year-old carpenter from Nazareth who was killed by this group of people. The Jews. Ooh, no, I'm sorry. It was the Romans. It was the Romans who killed Jesus. But since you blame the Jews, you are correct. And get to move on to our next question. Here we go. They were responsible for the bubonic plague. Jews. No, it was rats. Rats, not Jews, but close enough. So, 200 points to you. And let's get to our next question. Here we go. When these people move into the neighborhood, your property value goes way up. The gays? No, that one was the Jews, actually. That one. But good for you for not wanting to attribute anything positive to those people. 300 points. And let's move on to our next question. These people colonized Jews. No, it was the British. The British Empire who colonized pretty much everywhere. In fact, it was the Jews in 48 who decolonized British Mandate Palestine, reclaiming their ancestral indigenous homeland. But once again, since you blamed the Jews, you move on to our final solution. Our final round. Our final round. What's that? I'm sorry, we have to wrap it up. Okay. Well, in the words of your Zionist psychiatrist, looks like we're out of time. So tune in next to the best sermons of Louis Farrakhan. And we'll see you next time on Let's. Again, you did it. All right, fine. I want to end with this. I want to do this because I watched the testimony and it really made me sick. I watched the testimony of those 3 university presidents. And here is something that I wrote that probably I would say was cut out from the testimony. And I'm going to do it here for you tonight. Are you ready? And then I'll leave you with this. Here we go. Okay. This is between Congresswoman Stefanik and, of course, those 3 idiots. Here we go. This is a yes or no question. Is calling for Jewish genocide, bullying, and harassment, yes or no? Both. Both bullying and harassment? No. Both no and not no. Ma'am, do you know how to say yes? I do. So say it. Sure. Can you not say yes? No. So you can, absolutely. Okay, then please say the word. The word. You're being childish. Just say yes. Isn't it just say no? It was, but now I'm asking you to simply say yes. I did. When? Yesterday. You said yes yesterday? Yes, today. Can you say yes today? Yes, today. No, just yes. Y-E-S. Why? Yeah? No, I was just asking why are you spelling out a three-letter word? Because apparently you can't say it, so I'll spell it. Y-E-S spells no. I'm not playing that game. Okay, you know what? Fine. I am done here. Yes. And then they finally say yes. Thank you so much, everybody. That was my, thank you. That was my little treat. Well, I'm going to close by saying this. We just have one very quick part of the program. And guys, we all know what's going on out there in the world. If ever you were to support Stand With Us, I've been here for 15 years doing comedy, trying to bring some levity into this unbelievably serious and dark world. But if ever you were to support Stand With Us, this is the year. I saw what you guys did during the whole pledge. You could do it when you get home. You could continue to support all year. Thank you so much. And now please welcome the one and only Bruce Letterman, everybody. Bruce, come on up here.
Before we learn more about the keynote speakers tonight, we're going to show you a short movie which will tell you things about them before I do.
In the 2011 NBA Draft, the Utah Jazz select Enes Kanter from Istanbul, Turkey, and the University of Kentucky.
As Kanter goes around his man, there's the quickness now on the slate to finish it off.
He has long been an outspoken critic of Turkey's President Erdogan. Kanter says Turkey canceled his passport in retaliation for his political views.
I started to, just meet with, Jewish people, people from Israel, and, they were so friendly and they were so nice. And we both like shawarma, we both like hummus, we both like falafel, So I'm like, I cannot hate these people. Those are like my brothers and sisters.
Refuting Mia Khalifa's misinformation on history.
Israel has only been a state since 1948. Palestine is thousands of years old.
Sorry, Mia, you are wrong. Israel is 3,000 years old, 75 years young. And this is not coming from a Jew, but from a proud Muslim. The Jewish people, dear Mia, are not foreign colonialists in the land of Israel. I was raised amidst Arabic media that consistently propagated anti-Jewish sentiments. In 2010, I journeyed from my beautiful hometown Jeddah to Paris, France, and I experienced life among Jews. I uncovered charm of Hebrew, the essence of Judaism, and the profound connection between Jews and Muslims. I made a decision to relay this newfound understanding to my community, and I'll persist in disseminating this message of understanding, of seeking commonalities between Jews and Muslims, of advocating that Jews and Muslims are not enemies, of collaborating to shape a new Middle East, inshallah.
Enes Kanter Freedom, human rights activist, NBA star, Nobel Prize nominee. He lost his NBA career for speaking out against human rights violations in China. Raised in Turkey, he began to call out human rights violations by the Turkish president Erdogan. Turkey then canceled his passport, convicted him of crimes in absentia, put his name on the Interpol list seeking his arrest, and imprisoned his father. Meanwhile, back in the US, Enes was having success in the NBA, first with the Utah Jazz, the Oklahoma Thunder, the Knicks, the Trailblazers, and finally the Boston Celtics. But after he wore his anti-Chinese Communist Party sneakers, and this was during the Celtics season opener, every Celtics game was banned in China and Turkey. Guess what? Not too long after that, his NBA career was over. Not deterred, Ennis continued to speak out for the rights of people facing oppression. He's now a voice for the oppressed in Turkey, China, Russia, Iran, and other countries around the world. He defends Israel and calls out others who demonize Israel and the Jewish people. On a recent trip to Israel, after visiting holy sites, he launched his long-dreamed-of basketball camp in Jerusalem for Jews, Christians, and Muslim children. He also works in the U.S. to educate the Muslim community about the Holocaust. 7 years after his Turkish citizenship was revoked, Ennis became an American citizen. He changed his last name to Freedom. Loe Ahmed al-Sharif is a Saudi national. At the age of 28, he traveled to Paris on a homestay program. He was hosted by a Jewish family. This experience opened his eyes to Jewish practice and traditions. Today, he is an up-and-coming influential voice inspired by the Abraham Accords, and he works to strengthen people-to-people ties between Israel and the Gulf. With his growing social media, Loe uses his knowledge of Judeo-Arabic heritage to improve relations between Arabs, Israelis, and the Jewish people, creating a better future for everyone. Both men are examples of courage. They knew the dangers of speaking out. They did it anyway. They have helped many, many people, but each has paid a personal price for doing so. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Loe and Ennis. Whoa, it's now clear to me why my parents discouraged my pursuit of a career as a professional basketball player. But I digress. Ennis and Loe will now join Roz for a panel discussion.
Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
So welcome to you guys. Thank you. This is a time when we need allies, and you guys have been great allies. So thank you. Thank you for that. So I know you have a plane to catch, so we'll just get right into it. You guys grew up with a lot of hate for Jews. And can you tell us a little bit about that? So Ennis, you first.
Of course. Before I speak, I just want to give a huge shout out to Ella. I met so many women in my life, but she's definitely one of the bravest women I've ever seen in my life. So wherever you are, Ella, shout out to you. I wanna start with this. Obviously, growing up in Middle East, it was a very difficult time, especially if you are, in Turkey, and if you are a politician. If you want to be elected again, you do two things: you attack America and you attack Israel. Unfortunately, the base is so uneducated. They're like, "Wow, look at our leader. He's standing tall against America. He's standing tall against Israel. Let's vote for him." So growing up, it was the same. Literally the same situation. So I remember I was 9 years old. I went downstairs to play with my friends. And my little friends, they were burning American flags. They were burning Israeli flags, and they were breaking crosses. I was like, "Guys, what are you doing?" They said, "Well, that's what we've seen on TV. We should hate America. We should hate Israel." And they gave me a flag to burn it. They gave me a flag. They gave me a lighter, and they said, "Burn it." I was like, I got so scared. I threw the flag down. I ran upstairs to my mom. I was like, "Mom, my friends are telling me to hate America, hate Israel. What do I do?" She said, "I'm not going to tell you what to do, but do not hate anyone before you meet him." So that was the first question that my mom put in my head. I'm not going to hate anyone till I meet him. So.
How about you, Loe? What did you grow up with?
Well, first of all, I'm so honored to be here with Stand With Us. A great pleasure. Thank you so much for having me. I was born and raised in Saudi Arabia to a family that is half Saudi and half Egyptian. And I now live in the United Arab Emirates, proudly, the most beautiful country in the Arab world. Now, we were raised with curricula that incited to hate Jews. I'll be very blunt and honest about that. Now, things are, thank God, are changing. MBS is doing a great job in changing the curricula. Yeah, big shout to MBS, yeah. But the fact that, like, hate came from curricula and the media as well. And honestly, I was with the herd. You know, I regret the days of hate. But then things changed in 2010, dramatic things that really changed. And I expunged this hate proudly, and I would never go back to it.
Thank you, and thank God for you guys. So what was it, in your estimation, that made the change? What was it for you, for both of you, that made that change for you, that made you a different kind of person, even though you were surrounded by peers who were teaching hate?
So the first time I came to America, I started to, just have a lot of friends, and I met with this, friend who was a girl, and she called me one day and said, "Would you like to come to our house for a Shabbat dinner?" And I was like, "What's a Shabbat?" They said, "Well, we come here every Friday, we break bread, and we hang out and stuff." But I was like, "What's a Shabbat?" They said, "Well, I'm Jewish." And as soon as I heard, I hung up the phone. Because I just didn't know. Because growing up, I never had a Jewish friend. But then I remembered the promise that I gave it to my mom. So I called her back. I was like, "Okay, I'll be at your house." So before I went to her house, I called one of my Turkish friends who lives in America. They said, "Listen, I'm going to my friend's house, who is Jewish." He started to yell at me. I was like, "If you don't hear from me for the next 2 hours, you call the police." So anyway, I went to her house. And before she entered the house, she kissed her hand and she slapped the door. I was like, "What are you doing?" "Oh, that's called a mezuzah. So, we touch it before we enter the house." I was like, "Oh, we pretty much had the same thing." And then I entered the house. It was so amazing. Like some of the foods that, some of the prayers, some of the songs that they were listening, it was so touchy. I had a great time. But when I was coming back, my heart was shattering because there are millions of kids in the Middle East growing up anti-Semitic, anti-West, anti-American, just because of those hate speeches coming from, the government. There are many schools in the Middle East, front of classes. You have Israeli flag, you have American flag. And if you're a student, if you don't step on these flags, you're not allowed to attend the class. And you will get bullied the rest of the year by your teacher and by your classmates. So think about it. So that was the first time just meeting with one of my, Jewish friends. She was beautiful. Anyway, that helped definitely a lot. But other than that, she definitely taught me a lot.
Sometimes it takes relationships. We have to build those relationships and remember that. Loe, what are you laughing at? Okay, Loe, tell us, was there a turning point for you?
2010, I wanted to learn French, so I signed for something called a homestay program. A homestay program is a program that the school puts you with a family. And I thought that they would see someone coming from Saudi Arabia. They would put me with a family that is French, Algerian, or Tunisian or so. Because in France, they would never tell you the religion of the family. They ended up putting me with a Jewish family. And the moment I entered the living room and I saw a big Hamagen David, I was like, no. I still have the email that I sent to the school in 2010. I'm not proud of it, but I will make a video.
Tell us.
The email, I send them an email and tell them I'm asking for a transfer. How dare you putting me with Jews? And the school was like, so what? So we're putting you with Juif, so what? I said, no, I cannot. I was the man speaking back conscious with the TV drama series, the Egyptian movies that we see, and everything related to media and curricula. How can you put me with people who have fangs, people who are like real enemies of Muslims, just what we're taught? The Jewish family was wise. The mother took me out with her for shopping, and she said, okay, let's just do 1 week or two, and then for your transfer to complete. I did all the, in my stay, during my stay, I did all the Jewish holidays. I started with Pesach. I started with Sukkot. And my favorite is Hanukkah, not because of the Sifguniyot, no. Not because of that, but because of the story. The story of Hanukkah. I went, Ross, to France to learn French. I ended up learning Hebrew and Judaism. But that was great because that really, that really changed me to a different person. I told you that experience, I expunged hate. I came back to Saudi Arabia speaking to my mom about the experience that the first encounter with the Jewish people really changed my mind and heart. This is why my mother now, when she receives calls from her friends, look what your son is posting. He's supporting Israel. He's against Hamas. I've been in this discussion with my son 13 years ago. So she already knows where my passion and my love that no one will ever understand for Israel comes from. It comes from the history. It comes from the knowledge. It comes from the Bible. I studied the Hebrew Bible. I learned biblical Hebrew, Ivrit Miqra'it, and of course, modern Hebrew, Ivrit Modernit. And I love it, and I'm so proud of being a person who bridges the gap.
So, are you sure you're not Jewish? No. Okay. So, let's talk about the consequences of your changes. We heard a little bit about your consequences. We'd like to hear a little bit more about both of your consequences for being who you are.
Of course, I mean, I think, talking about it is definitely important, but actions are definitely required. So I remember till 24 years old in Turkey, I did not hear about Holocaust ever. They did not teach us about anything of Holocaust. So I was playing for Boston Celtics, and the Consul General of Boston Boston invited me for a Holocaust Remembrance Day. Anyway, I went there. I remember I'm standing up eating some food, and there's this old lady in a wheelchair. She rolled up. She looked up. She was like, I've never seen a Jew this tall before. I was like, ma'am, you're so sweet, but I'm not Jewish. She's like, what are you? He said, well, I was like, I'm Muslim. They said, then what are you doing here? I said, I'm here to learn. And then later on, I found out that she was a Holocaust survivor. So I was like, this is so crazy. We got to do something about it. So I had this crazy idea. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to Israel, Jerusalem, and we are going to bring Palestinians and Israelis together, and we're going to play basketball. A lot of people said, you are crazy. They're not going to play basketball. They're going to fight. It's going to be like a... I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. Anyway, so I went to Israel. We organized this basketball camp, and there's this one Palestinian girl. She was like, there is no way I'm going to go to Israel to play basketball with Jewish kids. Her family was very well educated. They're like, you know what, Enes is going, go there for 1 hour. If you don't like it, we'll take you back. She ended up staying for 2 weeks. At the end of the first week, she apologized from all of her teammates and said, listen, I just didn't know enough, guys. So I put her and one of the Jewish kids in the same team, and I was on their team. I don't know if you guys know the basketball terms, but someone shot the ball. I got a rebound. I passed the ball to this Jewish kid. He crossed someone over. He passed the ball to this, Palestinian girl. She scored the ball. And when she was coming back, they high-fived each other. I was like, this is the most beautiful scene I've ever seen in my life. But coming from obviously consequences was big because obviously when you do organize something so beautiful in Jerusalem and you invite Palestinians and Israelis and the kids see each other that doing some amazing things, obviously you get a lot of death threats and you get a lot of hates, and you should have seen my comments. It was the most nastiest, disgusting comments I've ever seen. But you know what? It is what it is. I mean, I can't do nothing about it, but I mean, we got a lot of work to do.
We have a lot of work to do. And I know because you and I were together in Chicago, he spoke for us in Chicago as well. I know that your father was imprisoned. I know that you were marked for Interpol. You can't travel to certain countries. I know that they put a fatwa. I mean, it's not, this is not a funny business. Tell us what you have gone through in terms of consequences.
First time I outspoke about Israel in a scientific manner was in 2017. I remember that I wrote a tweet about the significance of Jerusalem in Islam, which is none. The significance of Mecca in Islam is the most. Jerusalem, I wrote a tweet that how a character that is revered in Islam. His name is Dawood, which is David, King David. He proclaimed Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, the second capital, because the first capital was Hebron. But then when David dealt with the Jebusites, he captured Jerusalem and turned it into the capital. That tweet made the whirlwind. At that time, I called 2017, before the Abraham Accords, I called an American Jewish businessman, a good friend of mine. His name is Eli Epstein. Told him, Eli, I'm frightened. Social media is going against smearing me. So Eli told me at that time his favorite word, Azizi, don't worry, I want you to go to Dubai. There's a hotel there, I want you to stay. Just get out of this mood. At that time I went and first time I met the Jewish community in the UAE. 3 years before the Abraham Accords. I had nothing to win to speak about that. Now, when the war happened with the October 7th, and of course I lost a few friends in the music festival, the Supernova Music Festival. I put some photos of those friends that were in the UAE a couple of days before. People really started to brutally attack, but I want to tell you one thing. When I see people attack me and giving me the slurs and curses and stuff, you know what? I sit back and say, one day I was in their shoes. So you have to deal it with wisdom. You have to change people with wisdom. At the same time, you have to know that people change. I post continuously photos of messages I receive from people that they say, we follow your YouTube, we follow your Snap, we follow your Instagram, and you really made us change on the indigenous status of the Jewish people in the land of Israel. That is absolutely, that is important, and that is not anti-Islamic. In Islam, we honor the prophets of God, and we honor Joshua bin Nun, but without giving the details that Joshua was the one who renamed the land from Canaan to the land of Israel. That is very important for people to understand and educate. I have zero regrets, to be very honest. The only regrets I had when I was in 19, 18, 20, and I had so much hate in my heart. But the moment you expunge hate and you become a better human being, especially when you bring the children of Abraham together, I have zero regrets. And I deal with this hate with wisdom in order to try to save the young Muslim generations not to fall in the trap of hate, to become better human beings, and to live with Jews. Muslims and Jews can turn the Middle East, as MBS said, into the new Europe.
Thank you. We deliberately put these two gentlemen at the last part of the program because I hope you feel the hope when you hear people like this speak and are working so hard to change hearts and minds. That's why we have them here. So you go home knowing that there are wonderful people in the world that are working to change hearts and minds. What's on tap for you next?
So actually, this is the first time I'm telling you all this, but so my plan is to bring all the Abrahamic religions together and open up basketball schools, all around the world, and bringing Christians, Muslims, and Jews together to play basketball, because all the kids out there is like, yes, love it. But I already started talking to the schools. I already started talking to the mosques and temples and churches and stuff. They're very interested because there is a huge potential. When I don't know if you guys know about this, but I'm sure you guys heard about Kyrie Irving comments and what Kanye West said about some of the anyway. I'm not going to repeat it and stuff, but not many people knows. But Kyrie Irving actually reached out to me. I have the text messages. And think about if someone were to take Kyrie when he was a rookie to Israel and show him around, take him to Jerusalem, take him to Tel Aviv. He'll have fun, I'm sure. It's Tel Aviv, And he wouldn't make the comments that he's making today. So my thing is, open up schools all over the world, one in LA, one in New Jersey. I want to open up one in Jerusalem, one in Berlin, and a couple ones in Europe. And we're going to start taking these kids to all these places. We're going to take him to UAE, we're going to take him to Israel, we're going to bring him to America. And we're not going to talk about no conflict. We're going to talk about no war. They're going to learn from each other, because it's a team sport. They have to communicate or they're going to lose the game, you know? So it's an amazing initiative. I'm really excited about it. Many rabbis, many imams, and many pastors already like stand behind this. So it's going to be an amazing initiative. And I want you to guys be part of this, because I'm going to tell you guys more about it later, about once everything is done. But I really want you to guys be a part of this, because this is going to be an amazing initiative. So I'm really excited.
Thank you so much. Relationship building through basketball. Relationship building through basketball. What's on tap for you?
For me, to be very honest, I realized that the battlefield is social media and college campuses. And I've been here in the US for the past 2 weeks speaking in some college campuses, not in favor just to defend Israel, to defend peace with Israel, to defend the Abraham Accords that I really believe in. The Abraham Accords are at stake. And if we don't wake up enough, we might lose some of the benefits that the Abraham Accords brought to our region that I see with my own eyes in the UAE. And I want to say I have a different approach to my friend, that I focus on de-radicalizing people. I know where that hate comes from. I've been in this journey. So I really want to change the hearts and minds of people, not to hate first, and to know the commonalities we have with the Jewish people, to appreciate the Jewish people, because most of the prophets we are named after are Jews. You have a Palestinian kid standing on the hill of Jerusalem, and then he is named Dawood. He says Jerusalem is the capital of Palestine. He doesn't know that he's named after the one who proclaimed Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. This is something very important, education. This is why I tend to change people, and I want to keep on doing this, inshallah. And I would love you all to be part of it as well, because changing the minds of heart. I just want you to imagine one family in France changed one person, and this person now has 100,000 followers on Instagram, 190,000 followers on Twitter. Please follow me. That's to start with. But I always, when I think about it, one family changed one person. So we can do the greatest mitzvah in Hebrew. We call it, guys, tikkun olam. Like healing the world, make it a better place. Like Michael Jackson said, for you and for me and the entire human race. I am focusing on tikkun olam. I'm focusing on making our forefather Abraham look down to his children, the children of Ishmael and the children of Isaac, living side by side with no hate in a region that is deserved to be better than Europe.
Thank you. Thank you, Enes. Thank you, Loe. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you.
Love you all.
Thank you so much.